Hello friends, I'm Igor from Trucking42. Today we will discuss why many trucking companies are no longer coping with the market and are closing down. I will consider the reasons for this decline, talk about those who have closed and those who are still holding on. We will mention how, what and why. And I will also show a free tool that I am working on, which allows you to track and correct errors in your expenses. Let's begin. There is a ton of reasons why crisis on the spot market struck again, but two of them are most important. First one is the market is overwhelmed with the trucks, and the second one is a global crisis that affects the industry. It's nothing new, but true. These two stories complement each other, and brokers can afford to lower prices. The average rate on the spot market has fallen by more than 15% compared to last year. New Year holidays brought us amazing rates, but we see this year is tough with trucking. Normally the market evens out by the end of December, stays at a high level for several weeks and then falls down again, returning to its average rates around the middle of spring, maybe closer to an end. This happens every year, this is something normal, but under the general decline of the market, seasonal fluctuations will be felt much harder. Small businesses that didn't have any strategy and haven't established internal processes couldn't withstand the fall of the average rate below $2.60 per mile. Small, medium-sized carriers that had some savings kept working with their belts tightened for a while, often losing money or working to zero. They broke down on the second wave as soon as the average rate per mile fell below $2.40 per mile. And now remain large companies that know how to minimize costs correctly. They have well-established internal processes, their inventory is purchased in large quantities at low prices, and their stability and well-functioning of a system also affects the price of insurance, so basically they save there as well. But the most enterprising players are still in game. These are companies that are constantly in search of new, more effective solutions. So, to successfully optimize your business, you must first understand exactly where you can reduce your expenses and how much. Second, to review your targets for your drivers and your dispatchers. And the third, to understand how a change in a certain parameter affects your net income. In order to demonstrate how a small adjustment can have a good impact on your net profit, I'm going to use a free tool. It's a website called Trucker Calculator. I will leave a link below. Very important, now I'm filling all the expenses provided us by the real carrier, partner of ours. Expenses are true for the previous month. Not all of his trucks are doing profit. Some gain zero or even go negative. It is interesting, isn't it? Let's figure it out. I will be filling out expenses for the trucks that are running negative. First, and the main important thing that I have noticed is that his driver was doing less on total gross and total miles. It's much lesser than a driver should do. So basically, it's $19,000 and almost 8,000 miles. And I know that this driver wasn't working the whole month. So let's try changing this, because as you see, his fixed payments remain the same and they will remain the same. Basically, owner is overpaying for his trucks that isn't working, isn't gaining him money. Rate per mile is lesser now, but the negative is already $760 versus $2,000, which we started from. Next, the driver salary. He is paying 75 cents per mile to his driver. And there's nothing wrong about it, and a couple of years ago this was an average driver salary, but not now. And this owner cannot afford to pay 75 cents per mile to his driver. The average payment to the driver right now is closer to 65 cents per mile, and we will change this parameter here. Next, fuel. He was paying 85 cents per mile on the fuel, and that's enormous. Actually, fuel prices are high right now, but not as high as he was paying. This may be due to a couple of reasons, such as wrong targeting on the weight, like his dispatcher was taking heavy loads. Maybe this was due to bad lane planning. because some states have higher fuel costs and some states have mountains. This could have been due to an old vehicle, but as we see here, he is paying $3,000 for his truck, and I am sure it's a new truck. Anyway, there is a possibility to spend much lesser on fuel, and let's try imagining what happened if the dispatcher was taking easier loads and if the truck wasn't running through mountains. This is already looking good, but we are not done with the corrections yet. There is a couple of points we can consider changing. He's paying $3,000 for a truck lease, and you may have a better option on spot. Or you may consider taking a used truck. Now, very important, before making this decision, weigh up the pros and cons, because in a long-term run, new trucks appear to be better. New trucks are much more fuel efficient, you won't be spending that much on maintenance, and of course the risk of unknown history leads to higher breakdown risk if you decide to go with a used truck. This is all about you and what do you have available on spot. You may have your own equipment, or maybe you can win a better factoring percentage. And that's exactly what I love in this trucker calculator. It is simple and it suits everybody. I highly recommend checking it out by yourself. In conclusion, increasing gross can change the situation even at low rate per mile. Rate per mile does not affect fixed costs, and if your truck is stationary and the driver is not working, you are losing money. Even with significant fuel and driver salary expenses, the overall situation may not be that bad when the truck is working all the time. Nevertheless, driver salary plays a significant role, and you should pay your driver close to average amounts. Fuel expenses play a huge role and depend on multiple factors, such as targeting, route planning, because of high fuel costs in some states, and because of the mountains, and the age of the truck. Of course, old trucks consume more fuel. Every case is unique, so check what results you get. Trucker Calculator is a free, simple and accessible web tool that helps track freight expenses. That's all for today. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And thank you for watching.